Hello, welcome to Bespoke Unit. My name is Paul Anthony, and in today's video we're going to be looking at Blu Atlas Atlantis fragrance. As always with our fragrance reviews, I'm going to be using the Bespoke Unit Fragrance Formula, or BUF for short. In the description below you're going to see links over to Bespoke Unit where you can download a blank copy of this and do the review yourself for this fragrance or any other, as well as see my own personal one for this review in question. So what is Blu Atlas Atlantis? It's a fragrance from a US brand that focuses on raw and good quality ingredients that are natural and aren't harmful to the body, and the same is true here with this fragrance. It is vegan, sulfate-free, as well as cruelty-free, and it is made in the USA. The fragrance is supposed to be indicative of what it would be being like on a Bali jungle coastline, and with that being said, let's see what the fragrance actually smells like. So the first section of our fragrance formula is going to be the composition, which also holds the most weight within our fragrance formula. First of all, we're going to be looking at the head of the fragrance. So I'm going to spray some on here. As you can see, later we're going to be talking about presentation and overall. You can see the atomizer there is quite a fine mist, and it's not going to clump or spray out in a stream, so that's something to take note. So the head of the fragrance, you're definitely going to get that citrusy burst off the top with bergamot lemon, as well as some blackcurrant. With the dry down, as we go into the heart of the fragrance, we're going to be getting some lavender, some peach and apricot. Again, very light, summery, tropical. And then on this hand, I put the fragrance on at this point 8 AM, so we're probably talking almost 9 hours ago. And I'm still getting some on the hand and the back of the wrist there. The performance is quite good of this fragrance. So on the very base of the fragrance, I'm going to get some oak moss, some musk, as well as some violet as well. The last section within composition is going to be the lifestyle of the fragrance. As you can probably appreciate, when we've gone from head, heart and base, the fragrance does evolve and change over time. Okay, the next section of the fragrance formula is going to be seasonality, and for this particular fragrance, I'm definitely going to put it into that summer category. I mean, it kind of lines up with the description of the fragrance. Also, it could probably work well in late spring as well as early fall, autumn, depending on what side of the pond you're on. To be fair, I have only used this fragrance while I'm living here in Nicaragua, and it's been quite warm here, as it's been during the middle of the summer and the fall, so I can't attest to what it would actually smell like and dry down like on my skin during colder climates, but just with the notes from the head, the heart and the base, it's definitely going to be a fragrance you're probably going to look at more in the warmer months of the year. So the third section on our fragrance formula is going to be weight and strength. First, we're going to look at sillage, which is the trail of scent that you leave behind you when you walk with a particular fragrance on. I'd say this one is mild to mild plus. It's not going to be an absolute fragrance bomb like if you had Creed Aventus and you put too much of it on, you're going to smell like a pineapple cart walking through the office. As where this one's a little bit more subtle, it isn't going to overpower, but it is a unique and interesting scent, which I'll touch on in the conclusion a little bit more. So it will get compliments, even though it's not particularly over powerful and strong. Then we move on to the projection. The projection is actually quite low. People are going to have to get relatively close to you to smoke, again, because of those soft and subtle notes. And then finally, we're going to be looking at the longevity of the fragrance. And with this, I give this a 5 out of 5. It is pretty much an all-day banger that's going to just stay on the skin and be there. I mean, if you're going to put it on 8 AM, maybe you want to refresh it before going out at night, but overall, the performance has been absolutely fantastic with regards to longevity. One of the more interesting parts of our fragrance formula is going to be the third-party feedback. So what we do is we wear the fragrance and we ask friends, family, the fairer sex, what they actually think of the fragrance, and the feedback's been pretty unanimous. It's one of those fragrances that's kind of hard to put your finger on what it actually smells like. It doesn't really smell of anything else, which was probably one of the most positive feedback notes that we got from people. Overall, it's an interesting scent. It's a unique scent, and the third-party feedback overall was very positive. Next, we're going to talk a little bit about presentation. So first off, we're going to look at the bottle. As you can see, it's a square bottle, and the BA with Atlantis is on the bottle, and the BA itself is actually raised up from the bottle, as you can see there. Beyond that, we have the packaging. It comes in this cardboard box which flips open and is relatively small, so it could be used to actually travel with the fragrance itself. Earlier on, I touched on the atomizer, and as you can see, it's a fine mist that's projecting about as far as my fingers there, but it's not going to overly wet whatever surface, skin or clothes that you may end up putting this on. And then finally, we're going to talk about value. This retails at $100 on the Blu Atlas website for 100 ml with the uniqueness of the scent as well as the longevity of the scent. I do feel this represents good value. Okay, next we're going to move on to the impression of the fragrance, and this is broken down into 4 individual categories. First, we're going to talk about the age range, just because of its kind of uniqueness, as well as it's kind of hard to put the finger on. I'd say it's going to be a little bit of an older fragrance. I wouldn't say it's anyone for their teens or early 20s, but once you're approaching late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, I think this is going to be a very nice summer fragrance for you. With regards to the time of day, I think during the day is going to be good, especially in those kind of more springy fall applications, and then during the summer it could probably almost be an all-day fragrance, especially touching back on the longevity as well. With respect to occasion, I'd say it's going to be more casual, maybe depending on the event. It could be seasonally formal, so for like a summer or a beach wedding, this could also be a great fit. And then when we come down to masculinity, I would say it's masculine, but it's very neutral at the same time. I think the musk and the oak moss maybe give it kind of that more masculine base, but with the bergamot in the head and then the lavender in the heart, as well as the violet on the base, I don't think this would be totally inappropriate for a female to wear, but I think it definitely leans slightly toward being a little bit more of a masculine scent, but it's not a pure power frag in the masculine category. So here we have it. This is for the final score and conclusion. So on my particular fragrance formula, I rated this 81 out of 100, which just nudges it into the outstanding 5 out of 5 star category. I mainly gave it that just because of the uniqueness of the scent. I do own a lot of summer scents, and sometimes they can be very same, very citrusy, etc. But there are definitive layers within this fragrance which make it interesting. So being the first fragrance released by Blu Atlas, and I believe there was a reformulation. This is the new formulation that came out, I believe this year in 2022. I believe they've done an absolutely fantastic job with this fragrance, and it'd be interesting to see if they can come out with any flankers that may be more appropriate for the colder months. So with all that being said, I really hope you did enjoy this review. Check out the description below for links of where you can buy this particular fragrance, as well as links to many more of our fragrance reviews, as well as in-depth fragrance content, not only from the fragrance formula, but much more around fragrance, as well as many other men's lifestyle topics. Please like the video if you did so, subscribe to the channel. With all of that being said, my name is Paul Anthony, and I'll catch you in the next one.